Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive with us. Today we're tackling motivation, but not just, the fleeting kind, the
Yeah,
kind that we all struggle with.
exactly.
It's that deeper kind, the kind that helps us through those tough times, the
Yeah.
kind that keeps us going when we feel like giving up.
Yeah.
And we're looking at it through a Buddhist lens,
Yes.
which I'm really excited about. We've got this three-part exploration of motivation from a Buddhist perspective. And I think it's going to offer some really, really interesting insights for all of us,
Absolutely.
no matter where we are on our own, personal or spiritual journeys.
Yeah.
Like, for example, one of the things that really caught my eye was this idea of dharma.
Okay.
You heard of that?
Oh, of course. Dharma is a key concept in Buddhist teachings.
Yeah, it's like our unique path, our purpose.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Well,
like a compass that guides us towards what we're truly meant to be doing.
I love that. It's like finding that thing that makes you feel truly alive.
Right.
And then there's this amazing metaphor of motivation as a garden.
Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
That needs tending and care. We're going to dive into all that good stuff today.
Wonderful. I'm excited to get into it.
Me too. Okay, so first things first. Where does motivation really come from?
Well, it's interesting because I think a lot of us, we tend to think about motivation in terms of external rewards or recognition, right?
Oh, sure.
Like if I work hard, I'll get a promotion, or if I do this, I'll get that.
Exactly.
But what's really fascinating about the Buddhist perspective is that it emphasizes internal sources of motivation rather than external ones.
Okay, so it's not about chasing those external rewards.
Not exactly. It's about connecting with something much deeper within ourselves, a sense of purpose that's not dependent on those external factors.
I mean, it's kind of like that saying, isn't it? It's the journey, not the destination.
Yes, exactly. And have you ever noticed that when you're truly passionate about something, the motivation just seems to flow naturally?
Oh, totally. It's like you don't even have to force it.
Right. It's not about forcing ourselves to do things we think we should be doing. It's about aligning with our deepest sense of purpose.
Which brings us back to that idea of dharma. So could you talk a bit more about what dharma means and how it relates to motivation?
Sure. So Dharma, as we mentioned earlier, is this unique path or purpose that we each have. It's about understanding what makes us come alive, what gives us a sense of meaning and fulfillment. And when we align our actions with our Dharma, it creates this incredible energy flow. It's like we're tapping into a natural source of motivation that's always there within us.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we actually figure out what our dharma is?
Well, there are no easy answers, right?
Right.
It's a journey of self-discovery. But one thing the text suggests is reflecting on some key questions.
Like what?
Things like, what activities bring you joy even when you're not getting paid for them? What goals make you feel like you're becoming a better person? What kind of work feels meaningful to you on a soul level?
Those are great questions. I'm going to have to sit with those for a while.
Me too. It takes time to really unpack those questions and find the answers. But I think the process itself can be incredibly illuminating. It helps us get clear on what truly matters to us.
Right. And then we can start to align our actions with that deeper sense of purpose.
Exactly. And from that alignment comes a kind of motivation that is both powerful and sustainable. It's not about fleeting bursts of energy. It's about tapping into an inner drive that can carry us through challenges and setbacks.
It's about finding that steady flame within.
Exactly.
But okay, here's the thing. How do we even hear those inner whispers?
Right.
How do we connect with that dharma when our minds are so busy and full of distractions? I know mine is.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
We live in a world that's constantly bombarding us with information and stimulation. It's so easy to get caught up in the noise and lose touch with that inner stillness.
So how do we create that space?
Well, Buddhist teachings really emphasize the importance of mindfulness and meditation for calming the mind. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Even just a few minutes each day of sitting in silence, focusing on our breath,
Yeah.
can make a huge difference. The text uses a beautiful analogy. It compares our mind to a lake.
Oh, I like that.
When the lake is calm and clear, we can see all the way to the bottom.
Right.
But when stress and worries come up, it's like the water gets muddied and we can't see clearly anymore.
Oh, I see. So our mental clutter is like that mud.
Exactly. And mindfulness practices like meditation help us to clear that mud, to create space for clarity and insight.
So it's like we're creating a more peaceful environment within ourselves.
Exactly. And from that place of peace, we can start to connect with our true motivations, with that sense of purpose that's always there within us.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all fits together. It's like we need to create that inner space to even begin to understand what truly motivates us.
Absolutely. And that's where the real journey begins. It's really interesting, right? Because we've been talking about how crucial it is to connect with our Dharma, to find that unique sense of purpose that makes us feel truly alive.
Exactly.
But then the question becomes, okay, so I know my purpose now. What do I do with it?
Yeah, like how do we actually keep that motivation going? Especially when, life gets in the way.
That's a great point.
Like I have this amazing revelation about my Dharma, but then, emails pile up and the kids need something.
Absolutely.
And suddenly that clear vision starts to fade.
I think that's something we can all relate to.
For sure.
The text reminds us that motivation, it's not like a switch that we can just turn on and off.
Right.
It's a continuous process.
Okay.
It's like tending to a garden.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, the garden of motivation.
Tell me more about that.
Okay, so imagine you have this beautiful garden
Okay.
full of vibrant flowers, lush plants, and it's thriving. But just like any garden, it requires consistent care and attention.
Right.
We need to water it regularly.
Okay.
We need to weed out the negativity and provide the right nourishment for growth.
So it's not about finding this, magical source of motivation that will suddenly solve everything.
Right.
It's more about consistently nurturing that inner drive, just like we would tend to a garden.
Exactly. And, one of the ways we can do that is through rituals.
Okay, when I hear the word rituals, I'm thinking like, chanting under a full moon.
I understand.
Something very elaborate.
Yeah.
A little mystical, maybe.
I get it, but in the Buddhist context, rituals are much simpler than that.
Okay.
They're really about bringing intention and structure to our daily lives.
Okay.
Simple practices that help us connect with our purpose and stay focused on what matters most.
Okay. That's much less intimidating.
Yeah.
So what kind of rituals are we talking about?
Well, one of the most powerful rituals mentioned in the text is what's called the ritual of intention.
Okay.
And it's so simple. At the start of each day, you take a few moments in silence, close your eyes, and visualize yourself moving confidently towards your goals.
Okay.
Really picture yourself achieving those things that align with your Dharma.
So it's like setting the stage for the day.
Yes.
With a clear and positive mindset.
Exactly. It's about bringing that intention to the forefront of your mind.
Yeah.
Reminding yourself of what you're working towards and why it matters to you.
And that helps us to, stay on track even when those distractions inevitably pop up.
Right, because life is going to throw curveballs.
For sure.
But if we have that clear intention set from the beginning of the day,
Okay.
it's like having a compass that keeps pointing us in the right direction.
Even when the path gets a little bumpy.
Exactly. It's like we're planting those seeds of motivation first thing in the morning.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the ritual intention. Are there any other rituals that can help us, cultivate that garden of motivation?
Absolutely. Another simple but really impactful one is practicing gratitude before bed.
Okay.
Each night, take a few moments to just recall 3 things that you're grateful for.
You know what? I actually do that sometimes,
That's great.
especially when I've had like a really stressful day and I just need to like shift my perspective.
Exactly.
I've never thought of it as a ritual.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
See, it's about weaving these small intentional acts into the fabric of our lives.
Yeah.
And it's that consistency that really makes a difference because it helps us to cultivate a sense of appreciation,
Okay.
a sense of contentment, which in turn fuels our motivation.
So it's not about big sweeping gestures.
No.
It's about those small, consistent actions.
Exactly. And, it's much more achievable that way, right?
Oh, for sure.
It's something we can actually stick with over time.
Yeah, it feels more sustainable.
And don't forget about the power of mindfulness,
Right.
which we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
Just that simple act of noticing your breath, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment can be incredibly powerful for tending to your garden of motivation.
Because it helps us to, clear out that mental clutter.
Yes.
Those weeds in our garden. That can sabotage our efforts.
It's about creating that inner stillness
Yeah.
that allows us to connect with our Dharma and our goals, more clearly remember that calm lake we were talking about.
Yes?
Mindfulness is how we keep those waters clear.
Okay, so we've got rituals, we've got mindfulness, 2 really powerful tools for keeping that motivation flowing.
Absolutely.
Do you personally have any daily rituals that help you stay focused?
As simple as it sounds, I find that starting each day with a cup of tea and a few minutes of meditation
Yeah.
really helps to center me. It's become like a non-negotiable part of my routine.
It's like setting that foundation right
Yes,
for a productive and intentional day.
exactly. It's like saying, okay, world, I'm ready.
I love it.
It's amazing how those small, deliberate acts can have such a ripple effect throughout our entire day, impacting our well-being and, yes, our motivation.
This is all making so much sense.
Good.
But what about when we're faced with those big, ambitious goals that we set for ourselves and they feel really overwhelming?
Yeah.
How do we avoid getting discouraged, especially when progress feels so slow?
Yeah. That feeling of overwhelm is so common.
Yeah,
It can definitely drain our motivation.
totally.
But the text offers a really powerful analogy for this. The bamboo analogy.
Oh, I love a good analogy.
You do.
Tell me about the bamboo.
Okay, so I was going to tell you about this bamboo analogy.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so you know how bamboo is known for, its incredibly fast growth?
Mm.
It's amazing to watch.
Yeah.
But what's really fascinating is that for years, bamboo actually grows underground, hidden from view.
Wow, I had no idea.
It's true. All that time, it's developing a strong and intricate root system,
Okay.
almost like it's gathering strength and preparing for its big moment.
So it's working hard, but we just don't see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, seemingly overnight, it shoots up tall, strong, and resilient.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
It really is.
So it's a reminder that even when we don't see those immediate results, there's still progress happening beneath the surface.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful lesson in patience and trusting the process.
Okay.
Instead of getting overwhelmed by the enormity of our goals, we can focus on taking small, consistent steps each day, knowing that we're building something powerful even if it's not visible yet.
So we're laying the groundwork for that eventual success.
Precisely. Just like the bamboo.
I love that. It's so easy to get caught up in wanting instant gratification.
I know, right?
But this analogy reminds us that real growth takes time and consistent effort. It's about focusing on the journey, not just the destination.
That's such a core principle in Buddhist teachings. It's not just about reaching the mountaintop, it's about appreciating every step of the climb.
Speaking of mountains, the text also uses the metaphor of a mountain path to talk about challenges. And, let's be real, the path to any goal is rarely smooth sailing. There are going to be bumps, detours, maybe even a few mountains to climb along the way.
That's part of life, isn't it?
It is.
And that's where the Buddhist perspective on challenges can be so transformative. Because instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks or, signs of failure, Buddhist teachings encourage us to view them as opportunities.
Okay.
Opportunities for learning and building resilience.
So instead of getting discouraged and thinking, why is this happening to me? We can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this?
Exactly. It's about shifting our perspective from why me to what now. It's about seeing challenges not as setbacks, but as stepping stones on our path.
That's a really powerful reframe.
It is, isn't it?
It reminds me of that time I was training for a marathon and I hit a wall around mile 20.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I wanted to quit.
Right.
But I just kept telling myself, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. You can do this.
Like that inner voice, right?
Yeah. And you know what? I did it.
That's amazing.
So it's about tapping into that inner resilience, that ability to keep going even when things get tough.
That's exactly it.
But how do we cultivate that resilience, especially when we're in the thick of it and feeling all those difficult emotions?
Well, remember those mindfulness techniques we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
They're so helpful for navigating those emotionally charged moments when we feel stuck or discouraged.
Right, because mindfulness helps us to create that space between the challenge and our reaction.
Exactly. It's about acknowledging those tough emotions without letting them completely take over.
Okay.
It's about observing those feelings without judgment, allowing them to arise and pass without getting swept away by them.
So we're creating a buffer zone, a little breathing room to choose how we respond rather than just reacting impulsively.
Exactly. And that space, that ability to choose our response, is where resilience is born.
This is all so helpful. Are there any other insights from the text on how to kind of weather those inevitable challenges?
Well, one key takeaway is the importance of patience.
Okay.
I think in our fast-paced world, patience can sometimes feel like a weakness.
Right. Like we should always be pushing forward at full speed.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is saying patience is a strength.
Well, Buddhist teachings really emphasize that patience is a strength. It's a powerful force that allows us to trust the process,
Okay.
to keep going even when we don't see immediate results. Remember that bamboo?
Yes.
It takes years of unseen growth before it finally emerges.
Like that saying, overnight success takes years.
Exactly.
We need to be patient with ourselves and trust that consistent effort, even when it feels invisible, is creating something meaningful.
Absolutely. And along with patience, another important aspect is flexibility.
Okay.
The text shares this really interesting story about the stone and the water. The stone is rigid, unyielding,
Right.
but water, though seemingly soft and adaptable, can eventually erode even the hardest stone.
Wow, so it's a reminder that sometimes persistence isn't about pushing harder, but about adapting.
Right.
Being willing to shift our approach to change course when needed.
Exactly. And those adjustments, they can sometimes lead us to even more fulfilling outcomes than we originally imagined.
It's about trusting that the journey will unfold as it's meant to, even with those unexpected twists and turns.
That's beautifully said.
Thank you.
And finally, the text really emphasizes the importance of community,
Oh, okay.
the importance of not going it alone.
Right.
You know, in Buddhism, there's this concept of Sangha,
Mm-hmm.
which refers to a spiritual community or support system.
Okay.
It's a reminder that we don't have to face our challenges in isolation.
We're not meant to go it alone.
No, we're not.
It's about reaching out for support when we need it, sharing our struggles, celebrating our wins with those who understand.
Exactly. Sometimes just voicing our challenges out loud can lighten the burden,
Sure.
and sharing our successes with others amplifies the joy and reinforces our motivation.
It's like we're all on this journey together, supporting and encouraging each other along the way.
That's the spirit.
Wow, this has been such an incredible deep dive. We've learned that motivation isn't a one-time spark, but a fire that needs tending, a garden that needs nurturing. It comes from aligning with our Dharma, our unique purpose, and from cultivating a calm and focused mind through mindfulness practices.
Exactly.
We've also learned that challenges are inevitable, but they don't have to derail us. We can use them as opportunities for growth, practicing patience, flexibility, and remembering that we're not alone on this journey.
It's been a pleasure exploring these powerful teachings with you.
Me too.
And as we wrap up, I'd like to leave our listeners with a question to ponder.
Okay.
Thinking back to that bamboo analogy, what's one small step you can commit to taking this week towards a meaningful goal?
That's a great question to sit with. Remember, it doesn't have to be a giant leap, just one small intentional step in the right direction. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Buddhist wisdom on motivation. Until next time, keep those inner flames burning bright.